Super Mario Wonder is officially broken. Speedrunners have already found ways to clip outside of the game's boundaries and skip nearly half of the game, saving almost 1 hour in the speedrun. But how is that even possible? The answer might shock you. It's a combination of both glitch hunters working hard to discover exploits and Nintendo making a bad oversight that has barely been seen in any of their games since the Nintendo 64 generation of games. This story takes a lot of unexpected turns. So let's break down how speedrunners skipped nearly half of the game, how you can perform these glitches yourselves, and what mistakes Nintendo did to make all of this possible. So let's dive right into it after a quick word from today's sponsor. Did you know Manscaped just released a brand new product? Introducing the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. Now the Lawnmower 5.0 basically does everything that the 4.0 does, but better. First, it has upgraded blades all the way around, which includes longer, wider, and rounded teeth that just cuts through hair with ease. But that's not all, because it also includes the foil blade, which is an interchangeably blade. Yes, you heard that right, interchangeable. And having these options is just incredible. It's basically 2 trimmers for the price of 1. But a trimmer isn't just about the shape, it's also about how easy it is to use. And it comes with a lot of amazing features that you would expect. First, LED. It makes it way easier to see where you're cutting, and you have 2 more options this time around. Second, you also have a fully rechargeable battery that is super easy to charge with a USB-C cable. So what are you waiting for? If you go to manscaped.com right now /Linkus7 or use promo code Linkus7, you will get 20% off of your order plus free shipping. So what are you waiting for? Do it. Click the link in the description. Thank you so much, Manscaped, for sponsoring this video. To first understand how these skips work, we first have to understand how Mario Wonder is intended to progress through. The general premise of the game is the same as any other Mario game. Bowser evil, Mario has to stop it. And to do this, we have to collect 6 royal seeds, when each one is collected in its own unique world, making up a total of 6 worlds in this game. In a normal playthrough of this game, the player would be very restricted at first, and then have more of open choices later on. You have to progress through World 1 to get your first seed, then only have access to World 2, where you will get your second seed, and finally get access to World 3, where you will get your third one, and then finally, last but not least, you will have opened up World 4. But at this point, the game does something different. It will let you choose which order you want to complete World 4, 5, and 6. Now this is actually a very unique take on the 2D Mario formula, because usually the player has to follow an exact order throughout the entire game, while maybe sometimes being able to find pipes or cannons or other secrets that let you skip worlds, but there's usually a similar always existence of a progression. But with Mario Wonder, it's a little bit more of an open world approach, where the only requirement is that you have to obtain all 6 royal seeds. Or do you? Well, here's actually where the game lies to you, and where Nintendo made a mistake not commonly seen for years. You see, in most older Nintendo games, the checks that were in place to see if endgame events could take place were usually triggered by a couple of late game items, because it always assumed that if you had those items, you must have already done everything beforehand. An easy example of this would be in Ocarina of Time, where the game only checks for the Shadow Temple and the Spirit Temple medallions to be able to complete the game, rather than checking for all 6 of them. Because obviously if you have the last 2, you must have gotten all the other ones, right? Well, that's usually what speedrunners take advantage of. But in most newer games, you probably notice that checks are done to make sure that every single event is taking place and you cannot skip anything in its progression, to make sure you never perform a sequence break. And this is why in most newer Mario or Zelda games, for example, even though they might have incredible glitches, you will only see the glitches be used to maybe obtain items or finish quests faster, rather than skipping them altogether. But in the case of Super Mario Wonder, that is actually not the case. Because since this game opens up after the 3rd world and letting the player choose which order to play it in, they completely overlooked the check for looking over the first 3 seeds. What this means in practice is that you only need the royal seed from World 4, 5, and 6 to be considered to have completed the game. Now this is great and all, but even with this knowledge, it's not very useful if there isn't a way to skip the start of the game. But that is where this brand new glitch comes into play. because I'm happy to say that not only is this glitch incredibly easy to perform and also super fast to reattempt, but it also cannot mess up your save file, so both casuals and speedrunners can use it. So, how does it work? Well, it takes advantage of how the game positions the players when you use more than one player. Let me explain. If you have 2 players in the overworld, and you happen to pause the game and go to select characters, once you have selected the characters, even if you just chose the same ones you already had, it will always teleport the second player right next to player 1. Now, I'm sure you can imagine, this already leads to a lot of potential when it comes to abusing it for glitches. But it goes even further than that. Because what was discovered was that if you're jumping as you open up the pause menu, you can also delay this teleportation because the teleportation will not take place until the player lands on the ground. So, with a general understanding of how this trick works, let me show you in action how speedrunners actually skip half of the game. Now for this specific demonstration, I'm going to be showing off the World 2 skip, because all of the skips fundamentally work by taking advantage of the same exploit. So if you learn how to do World 2 skip, you can apply this to almost any area in the game to try it out for yourself, or to try and copy what speedrunners do if you want to be more specific. So that being said, let me show you how these skips are performed. So the first thing you want to do is you want to set up player 1 so that he will in 1 frame start to walk on a path. This is done by jumping and moving down in midair against the wall where a path should be located. What this means is if I tap down on the very first frame, he will just start walking. So once you're set up like that, with player 2, in this case Luigi, I'm just going to walk a little bit away. And then what I have to make sure of is that I press jump, and at the peak of my jump, I press start to pause my game, and it should look roughly like this. Hopefully that's the correct timing. Now, if I did that correctly, if I click characters and then reselect my characters, Mario, Luigi, if I press OK now, the game will resume. It will be about 0.3 seconds until Luigi lands, and he will teleport next to Mario. The only thing you have to make sure of at this point is that you hold the direction of the path so that player 1 starts to walk on the path immediately. So in this specific case, because the path is behind, like underneath me, I'm going to be holding down. So just hold down on the analog stick and press A. And if timed correctly, what will happen is Luigi will be teleported while he was in the middle of the walk, and it will place Luigi out of bounds. And now, that's it. That's glitch done. Now, all you have to do is either, if you just want to have fun, explore, but if you want to do a skip, you have to be careful in how you're navigating, and some ones are easier than others. In this case, the water, the dark ocean, is not solid, so you will fall through, and the beach extends pretty far down, so it will easily kind of push you back into bounds. So you have to just very carefully walk along this beach. You can see I almost fell down there. Thankfully, it's not super strict, but it's still pretty strict. So you just carefully walk around here. Walk up here. Now, once you're up here, at this part, you're safe. At this point, my camera's right here, but just literally walk right and then slightly down to the stage itself. Now you can see where Luigi is. If I press A, it will select the stage. Press OK, enter the stage, and that's it. World 2 has officially been skipped just like that. And it is not that difficult to perform. And at this point, you can complete the stage, continue playing the game like normal, or you can exit course. And I should also mention that if you ever regret doing that, or you want to do it in a casual playthrough for fun, don't worry. Like, let's say I want to unlock this path later. I can just press L to just reselect and place I've already been to. Like, here, Bluebird route right there. And bam, I'm back to where I were. Nothing happened. And yeah, like I said, you can do this on almost any path. So, for example, World 3 skip is done by using this path. So you set it up very similarly. With some player 1 and 2 shenanigans, and then you hold right to walk over, so you kind of gets glitched in the middle of that path. Then you follow along here, you kind of walk down out of bounds, and then you'll be able to go down. The exception is that you have to make the second player have the crown by winning a mission, because you need to swap back to one player. So some of them will have that tiny caveat, but overall they're all performed by doing the exact same exploit. But that being said, I hope that this helped you out and that now you have some understanding and you can enjoy this glitch for yourself, or if you just want to watch a speedrun and you wanted to know what's going on. But that being said, I hope you enjoyed this speedrun update. Please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel for awesome content like this. You can click on the screen right now for 2 more awesome videos that I've recently uploaded. But yeah, that being said, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Later, everybody. Bye-bye.